Hello, and welcome to Readings from the Pavilion End. This is Bill Rickier reporting after the second day of the third test between Australia and England at the Adelaide Oval. And last night, Colin Cohen and I were talking about the possibilities for today, how England really needed to get two quick wickets to bowl Australia out as quickly as possible, and then bat and bat and bat, hopefully. I didn't really care if they got 500 in a ballistic rampage or 250, 300 in a boycott-like vigil. Just bat for as long as possible. A day and a half, 2 days, whatever it takes. Keep Australia out there in that sun. Well, today didn't go entirely according to plan. Australia finished up with 371. Mitchell Starc got his second 50 in successive innings, and they just kept England out there for what must have appeared to be an irritating time, because today is the hottest day of the game. Now, England's batting, well, what can we say? I did mention that I thought England would be concerned about the return of two talismanic Australian bowlers, the captain, Pat Cummins, one of the most successful fast bowlers in recent world history, and Nathan Lyon, who is the leading wicket-taker in Test cricket at the Adelaide Oval, and in the course of today became Australia's second highest Test wicket-taker. Well, did they make a difference? They certainly did. By the 17th over, shortly after lunch, England's top four had been removed by Cummins and Lyon. They started, as they so often do, quite promisingly. Duckett, in particular, was full of shots. Crawley was noticeably restrained and sensible. And to be fair to him, and he's not the only one, he really can't be faulted. I don't think anybody could have done much with the ball that he received from Pat Cummins that got him out. Duckett was also, he was just completely flummoxed by Nathan Lyon and his first over, who then removed the really quite hopeless Ollie Pope, who was more adventurous than ever, and something really needs to be done. He obviously is not really a test match number 3. And Root was spared one possible dismissal. The technology came in for a lot of criticism today, as it did yesterday. We didn't really mention this yesterday, but there were controversies yesterday. But Root didn't long survive. So there they were, 71 for 4 shortly after lunch. There was then a bit of rebuilding. One cannot criticise the extraordinary Ben Stokes. He remains undefeated on 45 not out, having batted in a most sensible, careful way, unlike really any of his charges. Brooke looked, he made a point of saying that some of the shots he got out to in the previous games were really stupid. And he had one remarkable sliced 6 over extra cover, but he did play quite sensibly. And he was got out by a terrific ball from Cameron Green just before tea. Smith, who really has done nothing in Australia in terms of batting, looked okay, also played some remarkable shots. He was out, again, to a pretty good ball, but there'd been one of the controversies, the most extraordinary thing, actually. He was given out, and he reviewed. I may get this wrong. The point is that the whole review process took about 10 minutes, and nobody seemed to have a clue as to what was going on, or why it was that he was ultimately given not out. The technology seems to have concluded that he was hit on the helmet, and then the ball went to slip, and it wasn't clear whether Khwaja had taken a clean catch or not. Of course, if it hits it on the helmet, then it doesn't really matter because it's not going to be out anyway. But there was a suggestion that he might have gloved it, and a lot of the pundits said that it was quite clear he did, in fact, glove it. Why the technology couldn't confirm this wasn't at all sure. Anyway, it didn't really matter because he was out soon afterwards. Cass was out almost immediately. And to be honest, the best English batsman, apart from Stokes, looked to be Jofra Archer, who was still there at 30 not out at the end. So England are still, they're 180 or so behind. 3 days to go. What's disappointing, this was surely their best opportunity to get really into this game, bat long, get as many runs as possible, make Australia bowl and bowl and bowl in this heat. And, okay, Stokes is still there. There is some concern about his physical condition. Hopefully it's just cramp. He was clearly in a lot of discomfort by the end of the day's play, and all English supporters will be hoping that this is not going to interfere in any way with his performances in the rest of this game and the rest of the series. But obviously it is not looking good. Australia will be in the same position as England were this morning, in the sense that we'll hope that they can get 2 quick wickets tomorrow morning. And, of course, Ton is no batsman at all. And just as English supporters will have to hope that Stokes and Archer can somehow hang in there and make the score look reasonably respectable, then Australia will just go in and they will bat England out of the game. Australia could be quite happy with a draw, to be honest, but it seems, although rain is now almost certain to come on the 5th day, the draw would ultimately almost be miraculous. But of course, the trouble is, it's not miraculous enough for England. England need to win to keep the series alive. And if they don't do that, Ben Stokes and his unfortunate team are going to be looking on the rest of this tour as an ordeal that they'll want to hope can be over and done with as soon as possible. So Australia was just too good for this England side. The 2023 Ashes was a fantastic series, and the teams looked to be very well matched in that. Of course, Australia were unlucky in that series because Lyon was injured for most of it. And England, on many occasions, outplayed the Australians in that series. But this isn't England. This is Australia. It's different. The conditions are different. You would think you have to prepare for those conditions, which apparently is what England have been doing for the last 3 or 4 years, whatever it was, since the last catastrophic tour of Australia. And England's problem now is, what can they do? How can they improve this team? The way it's been selected means that there aren't that many options. England, you would think, would count themselves lucky as having, with the possible exception of Alex Carey, the best wicketkeeper in the world, Ben Stokes, who rarely let them down with the bat. But he, of course, is in England. He's not going to be playing any part in this series. The only substitute wicketkeeper they have, because Jamie Smith really hasn't performed with the bat, is, of course, Pope, who might conceivably move down to number 6, and maybe Stokes could bat at number 3 if he's fit. But I'm afraid the fact of the matter is that the situation in which England finds themselves is a sadly predictable one. And although we always continue to hope, and I've always said, while Ben Stokes is there, hope cannot be totally lost. But occasionally one just has to look at the realities and say, this is not looking good for England. But who knows? We hope for a better tomorrow. Thank you, and good night from Adelaide. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Please subscribe, and you can do that by looking at the website where you found this. Recommend to your friends, and I'm more than happy to take requests. Thank you.